Hello everybody, my name is Rino Terracciano. Welcome to this presentation. This presentation is going to be related to the article. As you can see from the title, Learning Through Play and Teacher Education. I'd like to kind of bring forth what I came away with. First of all, my whole thing about, learning is uh, it's not done where it's where you can't see it. For example, when you know that you think that children are reading, but you really don't know if they're reading, that's not what learning is all about to me. Learning is about something that you can concretely observe and measure, right? And so when I look at this picture over here and I see this child stringing beads or using glue to put something together, to me, this is what learning is all about. In looking at this first bit of the introduction over here, it talks about the resources children use, the materials that they use, right? There's all types of materials that we can put in their hands in order to promote learning, right? Whether it's gross motor development or fine motor development. And I think that from reading this first article over here, I came away with, we don't always have to give kids blocks. We can give them Legos, for example. And the difference between the two is that one would use more fine motor coordination ideas and one would not. Blocks are great, and you could purposefully use blocks in order to create maybe a place where the child would like to see themselves live one day. But Legos are a little different, I think, because they really kind of facilitate those fine motor coordination skills. So that's what I got from this first paragraph right over here. That's where I came away with anyhow. And I kind of really like these kind of ideas, like the word play. You can see play, and you can actually see children creating ideas, and you can see, through elaboration, through conversations, through hearing what children have to say. You kind of can measure, or you can kind of observe, measure what they're thinking and what they're learning. So far, what I'm hearing in this area right here is that play is definitely a great vehicle to promote the learning of our students today. Yeah. So I'll read a little bit. It says, the ensuing discussion connects students' experiences to the context of the course. As a professor, continues to embed playful experiences throughout the semester, students discover that playful learning is an authentic learning experience. I mean, as educators, we have to know that certain type of learning experiences are optimal to the development of everyone, right? And that very much when things are fun and engaging and actively conducted, right? They become a way of discovering, ideas that were never thought of before. So I like the fact that this is what authentic learning looks like, right? You can kind of see it, you can kind of hear it, you can kind of measure it, you can observe it, right? And then it says over here, shifting to a playful learning experience challenges prior education. So this could be a bit of a challenge for those people that are quite serious about what education should look like. And I am a proponent of, teaching children, making it purposeful, making it intentional, making it rigorous and so forth. But at the same time, if kids are not immersed, engaged, and actively doing, experiencing that moment in time, they're possibly really not learning. And so I really like the fact that, I like the fact that what I want to say is that as educators, we really need to be cognizant of really what promotes learning. And I think this article does a really good job in that aspect. So let's just see what the National Association for the Education of Young Children have to say. Play is an essential for all children. I will go further to say play is essential for everyone. I mean, just everyone, whether you're a child or an adult, right? and the learning that occurs through play cuts across the developmental domains, right? It's not just like I was explaining before about blocks and Legos. One fosters a bit more fine motor coordination skills than the other. Really, play fosters the development of verbal skills, communication with with others, right? And so I think that through play we can really promote learning, right? The context areas. So whatever we're teaching, we should be able to. What this article does a real good job is that our focus in our schools today is on science, technology, engineering and mathematics, right? I mean, that's the future and all that. But I think the article does a good job in saying, hey, how can we teach all of these subjects through play, and using play as a vehicle, as a tool to promote this type of learning that we want children to have, these type of skills, which is, again, science, technology, engineering, mathematics, all of that, right? We want the kids to have those competencies, right? But I'm not saying the best way of doing this. I'm saying the way to consider is through play. So I know we all should know the importance that for children who have difficulties in learning, we're going to have to play an explicit role as facilitating instruction in the classroom, right? But there is also a downside of it, right? That if we're providing so much direct instruction to these young kids, right, whether they're having difficulties or not having difficulties, how are we fostering independence and independent thinking? And so I really like where it says, providing children with opportunities for rich, engaging play positions them as independent rather than passive thinkers. And I see this all the time, as educators, starting with me first. The more I'm sitting here, providing direct instruction for one reason or another, the more the child is just sitting there being passive and just listening. And listening skills are important, but at the same time, you don't see that sort of active engagement, which is something to think about. So again, providing children with opportunities to manipulate objects, provide them with the resources and materials so they can learn from what they're experiencing, right? That might be something for us to really consider. Again, we can teach math by giving them those right materials, those materials that they can, see it, touch it, and start to really get a sense of what it looks like when you start to, when you engage in number of senses, let's say, right? Okay, and so let's just look at right over here. It says, when future educators engage in play, they re-experience in social, emotional, physical, and cognitive benefits. Again, how can we expect students to engage in purposeful or playful activities if we ourselves are not doing it, right? And so I think that this really brings forth the notion that in order to promote play, we ourselves have to think about how we are engaging in play. I mean, it could be, playing. It could be playing tennis, for example, or it could be playing, outside with other children somehow, hopscotch. But again, for us to understand how to promote play with young children, we ourselves have to, begin that journey or continue that journey of play, which it could be complicated. For one reason or another. It could be because some people's health doesn't permit them to engage in play as much as they could or they would like to. Or it could be because the type of subject that they've studied doesn't really lend itself towards play, let's say. If one went to school to become a writer, let's say, or what kind of activities they do that are play related in order to become a better writer. And I guess I speak because I went to school and I learned a bit more about music, and that was my form, or still is my form of play till this day. And so I kind of I see the alignment and the importance of play with young children because for me, playing music is important. Let's continue, but they are reminded of what play looks like and sounds like and feels like. So there's something about play, and until we do it, we won't understand how it does promote the development of all children, right? They gain a greater insights into the cognitive complexities that young children acquire as they immerse themselves in play. I really think that that's super important because play is not just, it's not just all about movement, but it's about the process of thinking. This insight then becomes the impetus for teacher candidates to broaden and transform their ideas and beliefs of how children learn and grow in the classroom. And I think this really kind of brightens up what goes on in the classroom. I mean, if we're creating an environment where children are having fun, but still at the same time they're acquiring these skills and these competencies in all areas, I think that we are better able to survive as teachers in the classroom for a longer period of time. All right, so here I am. We're just about over with this article, but it says while play provides opportunities for children to discover, develop, and deepen their understanding, it also can help them retain concepts, right? So there's something about play, how it it aligns itself and it kind of connects to students or young students' ability to remember and to recall information. And so that could just be because they're actively engaged, they're moving, and all of that is playing a role on their ability to recall this information or use this information later on and while engaging in new experiences. Play taps into many of our brain's ways of remembering things. It also it is visual, it is physical, it is fun, and it is repetitive, right? So I think that when children engage in play, they're using all of their senses, and this might be one of the reasons why it becomes a memorable experience and it's something that they can use later on elsewhere. Okay, so in conclusion, learning through play in teacher education. I think that this article really lets others know that if we provide young children with experiences and opportunities and environments that are fun, engaging, they really will benefit greatly from it. Thank you so much for your time.